process of creating the questionnaire for our survey, we had just included the personal details. Before moving on to the next section, I would just like to tell you that a little bit about this questionnaire. Whatever we create, whatever we do on this form will automatically get saved in our Google Drive. See here, it's written all changes saved in Drive. So you don't need to save every time. You It gets automatically saved in your Google Drive. If you want to separately move this into a folder, for example, you create a folder in your Google Drive which mentions that it's all questionnaires included. So there you can put that inside that folder. Now let us begin with the questions. So now we need to add one more section. So I just add here one section to this, and I name this section as test items. Now I add a question. When we add a question, we are given different types of options. Now I'll take up each of the options and I'll explain to you what they're about and how we can incorporate them. So the first thing let us do, we have already included short answer type questions in our earlier sections. So this is, let me just tell you this short answer type question here is, for example, things you write in 3 4 words, or maybe one sentence. These are short answer type questions, right? Now earlier also I told you, whenever you make this a required question, that means it is a compulsory, a mandatory one, and a star mark appears over here. For example, in this siblings part, I if I have to make this a required question, I'll just have to click on here, this part, and this automatically becomes a mandatory one. So now there will be a star mark beside this question, as is present in each of the other questions earlier. Now this part is where you would just want to duplicate the questions. If you want to have a similar question below, you can click on this, and if you want to delete the question, you can click on this section. So now let's get back to our test items part, and the first question that I would like to add, let me add a multiple choice type question. So this, I just click on multiple choice type question, and or maybe the first thing we can do is we can just add a drop down type of question, a very pertinent question. Do you like to study? Now here, these questions are meant for the children. So now this is a drop down box. Okay, now my option 1 is yes, option 2 is no, and let's keep an option 3 sometimes, right? Now let's make it a required question. So this is a multiple choice type question. Now we add one more type of, sorry, that is not a multiple, that's a drop down type of question. Now let's add a for example, let's add a multiple choice type question. Say we write that, how long can you study at a time, right? So now let there be options. Say the child says 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, more than 1 hour. So we've kept these options, right? Now we go to the next type of question. Before we do that, we just make it a required question, and we come to the next question. Now this time let's give a checkbox type of question, right? uh, for example, say for example, I write, who helps you with your studies, right? Now we have this multiple choice type question where, sorry, we just get into the checkbox type of question. In a checkbox type of question, also there are a number of alternatives, but here the difference between a checkbox and a multiple choice is that in a checkbox you can click on more than one option, whereas in a multiple choice question you can only click on one option. So when we go to the checkbox type, so let's see the alternative. Say for example, my mother, my father, my tutor, my school teachers, and no one else. No one. So here, the child may say that the child may seek help from the mother or and the father as well as the tutor. So in that case, the child may click on one, two, three, mother, father, tutor, school teachers, all four, right? So it depends on the choice of the child. So here, this is, let's make it a required question. So this is another type, another variety of question. We call this a checkbox type of question. Now let's add another variety of question. Now this time let's add a paragraph type of question. What do we do? A paragraph type of question. A paragraph is of course where you write an answer in two, three sentences, or maybe four or five, depends. So there we mention it as, say for example, I write, if you were given an opportunity, comma, what change would you uh, would you what change would you bring what change would you bring in your school? So this is a paragraph type of question, wherein, let's make it a mandatory question, the child can give one suggestion. It's an open-ended question. So this is another variety of questions which we can add to our questionnaire. Now we come to the next segment, which is, now let's add a linear scale type of question. Now what's a linear scale? A linear scale, as we most of us we know, this is more of a Likert scale, like wherein here you see we are given how many points, like 5 point scale or 7 point scale. These options are like there, like strongly agree, or poor, very poor, or whatever. So that way, you know, you can give the options as to 5 point or 7 point or whatever it is. um, you can give any option. So let us give a 5 point scale, and our first one, let's say, strongly disagree, and the second point, let's say it is the other extreme, that is strongly agree. Now let's give the question. Um let's for example, mm, studying online studying online has helped me. So let's give it let's see what the students write about it. So now let's make it a required question. Now we come to the next section where we add another variety of questions. This is a multiple choice grid. Now, a multiple choice grid is where you are given the different columns. You know, this is a little more complicated in structure, and you will understand when I give you the variety. For example, I say, the question I say is, what do you think about the following? Right? What do you feel about the following? Now, these are some school systems which I'm going to add in each row, and what are they? For example, I write online classes. Online classes. I write, for example, I write exams. I write projects. I write, say, yeah. Then I write maybe co-curricular activities, co-curricular activities, and then maybe another option I give, that is homework. Now, these are the different options I am giving on the left hand side, that is on the rows part. And now we come to the columns part. Okay, so my question is, what do you feel about the following? What do you think about the following? What do you let's make it, what do you think about the following, right? So I might say that I may give two options. Say, for example, I like or I dislike, right? Or maybe I may give other options. Say, for example, I strongly like, I don't like, I avoid. Whatever I want, I can give the two different options. Now we make it a required question, and the next variety that I add, next variety of question that I add here is another variety which is given, which is called the checked box grid. Now here the checkbox grid is such wherein you can add more options on the right hand side. Say how frequently, how frequently do you uh, study online through the following modes, right? So now in the rows part, what I do is, for example, I write WhatsApp, write Google Meet, I write maybe Zoom, or I write Google Classroom. Okay. Now here on the columns side, where I can give the options as often, sometimes, uh, seldom, never. So now we just complete this, and then we make it a required question. Now we have completed all the different types, all varieties. Here there is one more option over here. If you want, we can just upload a file, complete file over here. So we are not going to do that. So now we've added short answer type questions, paragraph type of questions. We have added checkbox, multiple choice, checkbox grid, multiple choice grid, um, the linear scale, and drop down, and all the varieties are added. Now what I do is, before I go in for the distribution of the questionnaire, or I just click once on the preview part and see how it appears. Just have a look at the preview and check out. This is the first part, which mentions this is how your students are going to see it. Survey on study habits of children. Then you click on next. This is the personal information that they are supposed to give, and all are mandatory. Now this is one thing which is there, because when you have a mandatory section in your questionnaire, unless you complete that question, your next page will not be opened. So I just fill it up, say for example, I just fill it up like that, by giving any age, say maybe 6 years, or maybe I just give, just for that matter, I, MBG school, 6 years, or maybe 6 years, or maybe I just give, just for that matter, I, MBG school, 6 years, or maybe I, MBG school, 6 years, or maybe I just give, just for that matter, I, MBG school, 6 years, or maybe I just give, just for that matter, I, MBG school just for the sake of it, I am just I just write it. Siblings, I give none, or class maybe I give what is my age? Okay, fine. Let me just give class 2, and then I click on next. So it comes to the next section. Now, the next page will open and it will give us a view of the next segment, that is the next page of the questionnaire. Now, before that, let me just explain this here. Edit this form. This is pencil mark which appears on the right hand side, which says that you have to edit the form. So, if you want, you can edit the form from here, and if you don't want, you may not edit. Okay. So now we click on to the next page. Now, do you like to study? I say yes. How long do you study at a time? I say for 30 minutes. Who helps you with the studies? I say mother, father, tutor, school teachers, or I may click on just no one. I do it alone. Now, if you were given an opportunity, what would you do, or what change would you bring to your school? Maybe I would abolish. I would um, abolish exams. Right. Now, studying online has helped me, whether this is a linear scale question, or studying online has helped me, strongly agree, disagree. So I say that, yeah, maybe yes, I say strongly agree. Now, what do you think about the following? Online classes, I like. Exams, I dislike. Projects, maybe I like. Co-curricular activities, I like. Homework, maybe I dislike. It depends upon the choice of the students. And now, how frequently do you study online using these following modes? Now here you see WhatsApp, using WhatsApp you can write often, or you can say Google Meet sometimes, Zoom you can say maybe seldom, or maybe Google Classroom you might say yes sometimes. So then it's a required question. So all the questions have been answered and this becomes dark. That is, now your questionnaire is completed. Now you can just about submit the questionnaire.